Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. You're watching In Deep on the Delta. This is the January 16th fishing report. I have a special guest. I have Nino Spella from Clear Lake Outdoors. He's going to be on in just a few minutes. I got a video and Nino will be talking about what's going on out at Clear Lake. And right now it's Clear Lake is probably the place that you want to be. I will have some reports here on the Delta. And I'll tell you right off the bat, the Delta is not on fire. Catching a few fish, it's not dead, but we're going to say it's barely breathing, and I think there's a lot of better opportunities if you're thinking about getting out and getting on the water. The Delta is pretty slow right now, but I'll give you my my report, and I have been out on the Delta a few times this week, and I am catching fish, but they're tough to catch. So we'll leave it with that. We'll talk about a little bit of river business. We'll let Nino tell you what's going on Clear Lake. I've got some reports from a few of the other mother lode lakes that also happen to be fishing pretty well. Then we'll talk about the Delta. So first off, we got the ISE show at Cal Expo January 16th through the 19th, starting today and running through Sunday. I will be there all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Fisherman's Warehouse booth. You know, you got to check that out. They come out and if you're there, make sure you say hi, stop by, but they usually have some really good deals on rods, reels, baits, even electronics, and they generally, it's not a clearance for them. They bring a lot of good stuff, good deals on good baits, good rods and reels. Make sure you stop by Fisherman's Warehouse and make sure you say hello. You guys have heard all my stories, but maybe I can hear some of your stories. We can stop and chat a little bit. So that's the ISE show running today through Sunday. Also the Bass Hole Team Tournament Series, that's going to be Sunday out at Russo's. Obviously I'm not going to be there, but I'm expecting that there's probably going to be about 40 boats out. I'm going to make a prediction, and my prediction is somebody's going to maybe get a 16, 17 pound bag for the win. It's probably going to take 12 or 13 pounds to cash a check, and I think a 4-pound fish may take the big fish prize. We'll see what's going on next week. I'll let you guys know, and we'll see if my predictions come to fruition there. And I will also be talking for some of you guys that are thinking about going out. I'll let you know what I've been doing out here and give you some of the things that aren't really patterns out here, but I can talk about. Maybe you got a place to start if you haven't been out here. So we'll get into that in just a minute. I need to break into the report real quick. We had one of my subscribers had his boat stolen last Monday out from North's Pirate Lair Marina. It's a jet craft with a 150 Yamaha on it. Aluminum boat, aluminum on the bottom, red on the top. If you see this boat floating around the Delta, give Zach a call at 925-200-3606. Thanks guys, let's see if we can't find this boat. With that, let's switch over. I'm going to play a little video and we're going to have Nino talk to you about fishing Clear Lake and how fantastic it's been, and not only just the last few days, but the last few weeks and what they're predicting here in the next couple weeks. So let's turn it over to Nino. We'll check out that video and then we'll get back and talk about some other stuff. I'm here at Clear Lake Outdoors, one of the premier tackle shops here on Clear Lake, and I'm with Nino Spella. How's the fishing this week?
Fishing this week has been phenomenal. Matter of fact, the last several months, I'd say it's been exceptionally good. I mean, we've had some tournaments in that September to October time that had amazing bags. Had a couple local tournaments recently that are even better bags. You know, 30, 34 pounds it takes to win a tournament now. I mean, catching 25 pounds it's easy to do. I've personally been out the last 3 days straight, and I've caught over 25 pounds every day. Between that 26 and 27 pound mark, I'm not personally catching any giant fish. You know, I did catch one 9-pounder this week. I've personally caught 2 7-pounders as well. So there are trophy class fish out there. There are multiple double digits being caught as well.
So if somebody's coming up in the next week or two, what can they expect? What's the water temperatures out here? What kind of areas are the fish holding in? What should they be bringing up here, and what should they look forward to in the next couple weeks?
Right now, a lot of the bass are focusing on shad and hitch profiles. So anything in that 3 to 5 inch, 4 to 5 inch range of bait profile is what you want to focus on. Right now, sadly, I'm staring at my screen a lot. I'm throwing an underspin, I'm throwing forward-facing sonar baits and such. but you don't need that to catch fish, you know, let alone to catch quality fish. If you come out with a trash fish, you know, I like an underspin. If you're new to Clear Lake, an underspin is a great bait to kind of, you know, set yourself in the right area to go out and catch fish.
Just like with a Kitech on it or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I personally throw the CMF underspin. I like a 1/4 or a 3/8 ounce. I like to have at least 2 rods, you know, 2 different colors. You know, you'll find a day where you go out and, for example, I like to throw electric shad. Some days they don't want electric shad, some days they do. So you want to mix it up. You know, you might want a rainbow shad or an alewife or something like that. The underspin here, it just flat out catches fish whether you have forward-facing sonar or not. Then here's my second point. If you do have forward-facing sonar, you really want to utilize that as your, you know, as your main reason to target fish. You know, you want to look for schools of shad, schools of hitch. You know, you want to have a reason why all the fish are there. You don't want to be fishing around, you know, no birds, no bass, no bait. Even if you are fishing around, you know, bass with no bait, you know, they might eat, but the fish around bait are more active, I should say.
Yeah. So what type of, should they be looking for docks? Should they be looking for rock pile, rock, tule? What depth should they be looking at? And how fast should they be fishing?
Right now, honestly, I've been catching them a little bit everywhere on the lake. I've been fishing the north end of the lake recently and been doing really good. The mid-lake area, you know, Henderson, Shag Rock, those popular areas, catching plenty of fish over there like usual. And then the rattlesnake arm is phenomenal, and then the redbud arm is phenomenal as well.
So the whole lake is pretty much going.
It is. I mean, the weather's been stable last week, and the fishing is consistent. I mean, I like I said, the forward-facing sonar does help. So I've been going out. I've been catching between 15 and 25 fish. You know, even more. I mean, I lose count sometimes, but there's just so many fish out there that, in my opinion, if you aren't up here in the next couple of months, you're going to be missing out on some quality fish and amazing fishing as well.
And you know, guys, we talked about the Delta the last few weeks. You're not going to be missing out a whole lot if you run down here for a couple of days. The other thing that's happening out here that is just amazing is I've been seeing stringers of crappie, and just the size and the numbers that are coming out. What do you look for if you're coming up here for crappie? Is it live baiting, or is it you throwing jigs, or what?
In my opinion, a soft plastic bait is your best bet. Like a little Kitech, a 2 to 3 inch Kitech, Bobby Garland, any just kind of staple crappie bait's going to get you that same bite you're going to get on the minnow. There's nothing wrong with throwing minnows. A lot of people have confidence throwing that minnow. In my opinion, I just go with the crappie jigs. I don't have to keep them alive. They're a little bit cheaper. I mean, and you can just have more fun. You know, I'm not worried about keeping my minnows alive. And crappie fishing, I can just put the little Bobby Garland on, or a little 3 inch Kitech, and just go have a blast. And the bass eat it too. I mean,
are you fishing docks for the crappie? I know usually when I come up, I'm fishing docks, but I had heard last week they're out a little bit offshore. You looking for schools of crappie with sonar, and then fishing over the top? Right
now, I mean, you'll kind of see I would say community holes. You'll see those areas where there's mass people fishing for crappie, and that's just solely because the crappie are there. You can find plenty on docks isolated, but I mean, like I said, forward-facing sonar, it makes your life a lot easier out here. So you know, having that, you can find your own personal school of crappie, and you can lay waste to them all day. I've been finding them on rock piles, docks. I mean, even just in no man's land in a big bay that's 30 to 40 feet. I'll go out there and I'm trying to look for giant individual bass, and there's a school of crappie that's as big as this shop. It's the lake right now is really fruitful. And you just go out there and you can have a lot of fun. I mean, it's really fun out there right now.
All right, you guys heard it. As long as the Delta is kind of in dormant right now, now's a great time to come up to Clear Lake. You guys are here in Clear Lake. Give them your address. Do you have the phone number?
I can pull up the phone number in a second. We are on 96 Soda Bay Road. We are open 7 to 6 days a week, and on Sunday we are open 7 to 5. I mean, we have quite literally everything you need in the lake to go out there. We have some apparel. We have every fishing lure you need, Kitechs, rods, trash fish. We have some custom baits here that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, we're the place to be, and we're here to help you guys out. Really,
it's a great shop.
Yeah, we're here to just make your dreams come true. We're here to put you on fish and to have a lot of fun. I mean, that's what we're trying to do.
Lots of everybody that works in here knows the lake. You guys are all fishermen.
We all fish.
Dave, who owns the shop, he's out fishing right now. So you can expect to get good, up-to-date information. And you guys have live bait. I don't know if
we do.
You have the small minnows, plus do you have the big shiners and stuff?
We currently are carrying the jumbo shiners right now. We just got rid of our minnow tank from last year because it was having some problems with dying minnows. So we currently are only taking jumbo shiners right now. When it comes to the little minnows, it's just availability. I think we can only get the jumbos right now, so that's what we have. But we usually carry minnows all the way until June or July, and then it gets too hot for them, and then they don't really sell at that point anyway. But in my opinion, minnows or not, there's plenty of baits out there to get you bit, and we are going to put them in your hands to catch some fish. That's for sure.
All right, thanks a lot, Nino.
Thanks.
And we'll be talking weekly. And for you guys that watch the show, this is kind of how it goes. Except usually I'm kind of relaying the information that Nino or Dave or someone tells me, and then talking to you. But today I'm down here at the shop, so let's get back to the Delta report, and we'll see what's going on the Delta. All right, I want to thank Nino for taking the time and sharing his information with us. And remember, I will be giving Clear Lake reports through the winter and probably on and off through the summer as things start to happen out here, especially when the Delta's tough. I know a lot of you guys fish Clear Lake, so we'll continue to have the folks from Clear Lake Outdoors on giving us reports. I also got a few reports from New Melones. New Melones just opened last week. They had that 30-day closure due to the mussel situation, and they have their own special banding. But for those of you who were up there and got banded, I know John Leasty has been fishing up there, experienced guide service, and he's saying that Melones is fishing really well. It was fishing good before they closed it. It's fishing even better right now. He's getting 35, 40 fish a day. Most of them spots. Out of 40 fish, he'll have 35 spots and maybe 5 largemouth. The spots are in excellent shape. He's saying a lot of the fish are 2.5 to 3.5 pounds. Spots are getting up to 4 pounds, fairly common up there. He's throwing jigs, he's throwing finesse stuff, he's throwing worms. The fish are anywhere from 2 feet of water out to 30 feet of water. I also got a friend, I got 2 friends up there. Man, I don't have that many friends, so most of my friends have been fishing up at Melones this week, I guess. But Jim has been up there, and Jim also reported, I think either he or one of his buddies had his boat banded right, one of the first days that they started the banding up there. And he also said that they're getting nice fish up there. It's just a good place to be. The fish are on the bite, and it's a lot of fun. So if you can get your boat banded for New Melones, get up there and fish it as soon as you can. Remember, if you have a band, you went out and got your boat cleaned, you think you're going to go up to Melones and use that band, it won't work. If you want to fish Melones, as far as John Leasty is saying, and I believe this is true, you have to go up to the launch ramp. They will band your boat. You'll be on a quarantine, and I think it's a 30-day quarantine. Then you can come back and fish Melones. So whatever you're fishing, these motherlode lakes, make sure you're properly banded. Well, let's talk about the Delta. First of all, I got a report from Cam Cardoza. Their tournament last Tuesday, I think they were out there, and I think there were 6 boats. What they have, first place was 11 pounds, 8 ounces to win. Big fish was 2.4 pounds, and that's out of 6 boats. They found water temperatures from 47 to 52 degrees, somewhere in there. And they're going out of, they're fishing the south mostly. Drop shot, jigs, jerkbait, Cincos, that's what they were reporting. Pretty tough fishing, because even though they only had 6 boats, I know a lot of those guys are really good fishermen. I also have a picture from Nick and Mike, and these guys go out, they send reports all the time. They send them when they're catching fish, they send them when they're not catching fish. But they were out of B&W, 48-degree water temps, about a foot of visibility down there. They got 1 small fish on a chatterbait, and I got to show the picture. I know it's not a big one, but you know what? You guys worked hard for that fish, so it deserves having a picture up here. They're reporting it's very slow up there. I know as I've been fishing, I'm getting about, I was out twice here on the Delta. I'm getting about 1 bite an hour, maybe a bite and a half an hour on a good day, and the fish that I've been catching, maybe 2 1/4. Most of them are just keeper sized to 2 1/4 pounds. I can tell you guys that are coming out for the tournament Sunday, there are no real patterns. And one thing, we can usually depend on the Delta this time of year, you hit that one little point, or you hit, one little rock bank or Thule Island or whatever it might be, and the fish are potted up. They're not in big schools, but you might catch 2 or 3 fish. You know, and once you get that bite, you'll catch 2 or 3 right in that same area. I'm not finding that. I'm having to move and just continue moving. Most of my fish are coming on reaction baits. My number one bait for catching fish, and I'm not catching a lot of them, it's been nothing special. It's this Mega Bass 110, and it's that blue back with kind of a gold belly on it. I'm picking fish up on that. Picking fish up on worms. You got to fish the worms real slow. I pick up a fish on an A rig every now and then. I should be throwing a spinner bait, but I haven't thrown a spinner bait. One thing I want to talk about is a couple weeks ago I did a video on A rigs, and a lot of people were asking me what brand do I use, and you know, I didn't know what brand it is, so I told them I'd show them a few of the ones that I'm using. And one of the things that I would suggest if you're using an A rig is a smaller A rig. This is a mini A rig here, and this is one of the ones that I'll use through the winter. I haven't used it in the last few days, but if you throw a small A rig like this with just maybe 1.5 or 2 inch paddle tails, and then maybe a 3-inch on the back, you'll tend to get more bites. The fish won't be as big, but you'll get more bites on this. So this is one that I throw with, I think the whole thing weighs maybe 1/4 ounce, and I throw this on I can throw it on a spinning rod, I can throw it on a light bait caster. Another one that I'll throw is this guy right here. This is a 5-wire with no blades on it, no flash. You'll notice it's a real light wire. It's got a lot of action. And on this one, I think I have maybe 3-inch dummies on it, and 3.5 or 4-inch baits with the hooks on it. Just something like this. Tactical Bassin, they make a nice finesse bait, finesse A rig, and I forget the name of the company that they're working with. The A rig that I've been catching most of my fish on is another small 5-wire. Is it 1, 2? No, it's only a 4-wire. It has a little bit of flash on it. You can see I've got, I think, just 2.5-inch Kitex on the top, and I've got probably, I don't know, 3.2, 3.8s on the bottom. Everything's white, or white with a white belly with a blue back or a gray back. And this is, I'm not getting crazy out here, and I'm throwing this on just a standard crankbait rig, but that usually does the trick for me. So if you guys are going to use an A rig out here, I would suggest using a smaller one just to get the bites and have some fun. Last but not least, the stripers out here, another situation just not really happening a whole lot. I talked to Jeff Sue, who says there's not a lot of interest out his way out west. He's been out, he's been looking at the water, it's dirty, conditions aren't right. A lot of his partners that are out, they're catching a few fish, they're catching some fish out by the bay, they're catching a few up in the Sacramento, but it's been very slow. Talked to Coach Ted. There was a bite going on in the Port of Stockton a couple of weeks ago. Ted went down and he looked around, looked for some bait, looked for some fish, and the fish that were in there just weren't there when Ted was there, I guess. So you guys that are going out of Lads, thinking about heading up towards the port, you might, chuck that idea and head out between Lads and Prisoners Point somewhere. I know a lot of the guys that I've been seeing at the dock at Paradise Point, and by the way, not a whole lot of sea lions out here. There's very little pressure, but I've been seeing maybe 6 or 8 boats a day. Most of them, I'd say maybe 50-50 bass, stripers. The striper guys are catching fish, but they're small. They're just keeper sized to maybe 22 inches, and most of the guys that are fishing are drifting live bait. They're all reporting that it's very slow, and they just have to grind it out, and if they get lucky, they get 1 or 2 fish to bring home for tacos, I guess. The bass fishermen that I've been talking to at Paradise, same thing. 1 fish, 2 fish, no fish. So it's been tough out here. My suggestion would be, if you're gonna go out fishing, to head up to one of the Mother Lode lakes. If you're not gonna go out fishing this week, make sure you get up to the ISE show and take a look around up there. And again, stop by at the Fisherman's Warehouse booth if you're there. And I will be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to chat with you. I'd like to meet some of you guys and chat a little bit. So with that, good luck. If you get out on the water, make sure you send me a report. And until then, be safe, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully something better will be going on next week. See you.